It's great to have all our Easy Properties users on this webinar and to chat one of our exciting properties that we've got listed currently on the platform, The One. I was in Stellenbosch recently and checked out the site where The One's going to be, spoke to a number of the university people that are involved with student accommodation, spoke to a number of the students that are on campus, and there's a palpable sense of excitement around The One because it is such a unique opportunity. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Gary Hackner. And Gary is part of HackProp, and they are part of the consortium that is developing The One. So thanks very much for joining Easy Properties and our users today, Gary. Lucky to have you.
Thanks for having me, and hello to all the Easy Prop users.
So Gary's partners chose him because he's the smartest, best looking, and he's going to give us all the inside information. So don't disappoint Easy Property users. So yeah, Gary, maybe just to kick off. As I said, it's The One is in Stellenbosch, but maybe you can talk a little bit about why you guys have chosen this particular property and what the attraction is of Stellenbosch in this particular area.
So I think the first thing that needs to be said is it's not. The One hasn't come about in a short space of time. We've been at this for a 6-year period, working together with the local council in order to get to this point. We identified Stellenbosch and are excited about Stellenbosch because of, as you said in your introduction, just the palpable feeling you get. Never mind The One, just to get in Stellenbosch and the feeling around it, and everyone just wants to be there. And there's a shortage of student accommodation. And how it came about was there was a land assembly done by previous guys, and they didn't follow through. And that's when we got the consortium together and convinced all the guys. And it was a very easy conversation because of where it's placed geographically within Stellenbosch Central, to get together and construct a development that would make sense and make what we believe make the town better.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about position, it's within easy walking distance to not only the university but a whole bunch of amenities. Some that are important to students, like a couple of bars, but a lot of the other amenities as well. And it's part of this whole Dennisig development. So I think, it is a very secure part of the town and a real safe environment apart from your own property. So it's really well situated.
Yeah, so they're not, in fact, there's nowhere in Stellenbosch other than this area that the town has identified for densifying. So what you'll find when you go around Stellenbosch is that you get these smaller developments, so 20, 30 units, 10 units that guys just convert one house into. And what we've tried to do with The One, and what we've been lucky enough to do, is when you do a 500 or 508 unit development, is you get a big pot left over in order to create amenities that you cannot do with a 5, 10, 15 unit development. And what we've tried is to create all the amenities inside. So even though there's the bars and the local nightlife of Stellenbosch, other than that, I don't think you have to really leave The One or actually this precinct in order to get that true student environment.
Maybe just talk a little bit more about that, because I mean you're in some ways underselling those amenities. I mean, having seen what The One has to offer, it's absolutely not just top-notch accommodation, but yeah, just share a bit more about what you guys are building there.
Yeah, so it was a development where in our minds, in the developer's mind, it's a place where we don't want the students to have to leave. So never mind the fun that you can have there with the 25-meter heated pool, games rooms, restaurants, and everything. You can find everything on the website. There's gaming rooms, but more importantly, there's been a massive emphasis on studies. At the end of the day, students like to do one thing. They like to have a lot of fun, but what they have to do is they have to study and they have to pass. So the amenities cater to both. But I think first and foremost, we want it to be a place of excellence where we can tell the parents or the investors or the students who are buying that your kids that are here, or the kids that are here, have the best chance of passing because of the amenities that we have given them.
Yeah.
that we have provided for them.
Yeah, and I think that's why there's, strong endorsement from the university and, broader in the town for this development, because of that philosophy that you guys have pushed. So you're breaking ground now, and completion is due when? When are we expecting these units? Because it's a massive development. As you say, 508 units, it's no small feat.
Yeah, so we're hoping that we can't miss by a couple of months. It's not like your normal residential development whereby if you're a month or two late, it's okay because you'll have a tenant there in March or April. Students go. There's a year period in which they rent, and if you miss that, it's not a good thing for anyone. The student won't have a place to stay; they'll have to find somewhere else, and the landlord won't have a place to rent out. So we're very cognizant of the fact that we have to be ready by November. So if we're not ready by November 2025, 2024, then we'll have to push it out a little bit of a year. But to buyers, it shouldn't make too much of a difference because there's a deposit, and you get to your money gets to escalate over the years. Because we're not asking for excess deposits or more than what they put in from day one.
Yeah, and I think also because of you mentioning that this has been a long time coming, and the tremendous amount of work you guys have put into it. There has been a lot of planning, not only the construction team, but all the consultants, anybody else that you're using, I think is very much geared up to ensuring that this is going to be completed in a 2-year period, so end of 2024, yeah. And that you'll be tenanted by 2025. So, as you say, it's obviously in your interest, never mind us as buyers and tenants' interest to make sure that finishes. But I'm interested in the process. So, we've listed some properties off plan on the platform very successfully. And but the majority have been, properties that are completed. What are the risks and benefits in buying off plan? I mean, we're putting our money down now. What are the risks and what are the benefits in your mind?
Sorry, something's just gone on my computer here.
No worries.
The risks and the benefits. So I'll tell you the risks are, of course, that the development just never gets complete. That your money just stays there forever, which is not really a risk because your money is with in a secure trust account. So there's no risk of that money ever disappearing. But the benefits the benefits really outweigh the risks in terms of you only have to pay a deposit now on day one and complete in 2 years' time. So you get that. And especially in a town like Stellenbosch, where it's growing, I would say north of 8-9% a year, that you get to put that deposit in. So, for example, if you buy a property for $1.5 million, you're putting an X% deposit down, whatever it might be, whether you're buying getting a bond or you're paying cash or whatever the deal might be. That property could escalate by 8%, 9%, 10% maybe within for each year for the 2 years, and you only have to come up with the balance of the money at the end of the period.
Yeah.
So that's why people really like buying off plan. And there are those people who hope the development does run late because they get, just for that deposit, they get an extra year. So there really are benefits to buying off plan in up and coming areas, as well as areas like which have been there for ages and aren't going anywhere, and you've got assured tenancy because of the influx of students every year.
Yeah. And then, I think in the case of Easy Properties, there are 2 comments that I'd like to make. Firstly, we've got an investment committee that very aggressively and rigorously looks at any potential opportunity before we list it on the platform. And we certainly won't list anything if we have any kind of concern around the developers. So a big attraction for us in this development are the quality of the developers. So sucking up to you and your team slightly, but it's the truth in terms of, looking at people with a track record, financial stability, etc. So for me, that's also not a concern. And for the investment committee at Easy Properties. And then secondly, from an Easy Properties perspective, I think we have an even better deal buying off plan than the one that you've mentioned for normal buyers, because we're purchasing upfront the full amount. And in my mind, it's sort of in 2023 prices. So we've got 10 units in this development. We're buying them as we normally do, the full raise. And then our money is earning interest in the period that you're completing this build. And then we start getting our dividend return when we start having tenants in 2025. And we've got a rental guarantee with you guys. So it's really sort of a no-brainer from my perspective in terms of security of my funds. And that's why, we're paying our dividends in Easy Properties now in the near future. My dividend cash is going to go straight into the one. I've already invested. I made a point of being the first one beating our CEO. But, my dividend cash is going to go into this because it's secure. And I know that I'm going to earn interest for the next couple of years, and I've got guaranteed tenants. So, I think it's a really and then discount price. The other thing, Gary, the discount that we've negotiated with you guys, people are really in the money from day one, as it were.
Yeah. Easy Properties are hard negotiators, but it's definitely been worth our while, eh?
Well, we're delighted to give you lots of exposure because we are very excited by this development. And we've spoken to you guys as well. We want some Easy Property folk to join us for an event or two down there in this construction period. It's not always easy to get on site during construction, but you guys have been happy to offer a couple of beers or the like. So I'm sure we'll be having a function.
Yeah, there's lots of places in Stellenbosch that we can host for a glass of wine or a beer. There's no shortage of that.
But good luck with the development. Thanks for the opportunity. We're really delighted, as I say, from an Easy Properties perspective. You're doing well on the platform already, and we'll push ahead. And I'm sure many other users like me will be looking at their dividend money and putting it towards this development. So thanks very much and good luck.
And thanks so much for your support and from your investor support. Really
Really